Hello everyone, good morning and very warm welcome once again to your favorite channel, that is StudyIQ English. My name is Praveen Mishra and let's proceed with today's topic of our Indian polity. As in the previous sessions, we have completed the topics till DPSPs and its configuration along with the fundamental rights as well. So taking the chapters up ahead, we have got the next one, that is the President of India. And before discussing the elections, the impeachment procedure, okay, and other things, the first and the foremost thing that we need to understand is the powers and functions of the President of India. So we know it very well that there are two types of leaders inside the Indian democracy. That is the first one, the de facto, and the other one, the de jure. The de facto, that we call it as the real leader, the de jure, that we call it as the titular or the nominal leader. That is, the de facto leader is the Prime Minister of India and the de jure leader is considered as the President of India. What's the difference? Prime Minister leads the government, President leads the state. The Prime Minister is considered the one who heads the government, the head of the government basically. Whereas on the opposite side, the President of India, it will be considered as, or it will be the position that shall be termed as the head of the state, right? So this is what the difference is. Okay, Prime Minister being the head of the government, President being the head of the state. Okay, and now when we talk about the powers of the President of India, okay, or the functions Honorable President performs. So here we have the President. First of all, what is the designation that needs to be marked? Okay, so first and foremost, the President is the highest office of the India. Okay, according to Constitution, the office of President is the highest office of India. And secondly, the office of President has been envisaged with the multiple tasks. Okay, that is, yes, head of the Indian state, the first citizen of the country, the titular head or the nominal or the de jure head, okay, of the Union Executive, and the Commander-in-Chief of all the Indian Armed Forces, from Army to Navy to Air Force to whatsoever armed forces we have, right? The Commander-in-Chief, according to Article 52, it shall be the President of India only, right? Okay, so President of India, head of the state, head of the Union Executive, the de jure head basically, and yes, the first citizen of the country, and apart from that, the Commander-in-Chief of all of the armed forces, right? From Army to Navy to Air Force to whatsoever. Okay, so this is what we have got, the features of the President. Now talking about the powers. Okay, see, the powers of the President, they are divided among different heads, like the financial powers, legislative powers, executive powers, diplomatic powers, pardoning powers. It is also the part of the judicial powers. Okay, so there are different heads when it comes to the powers of the President. Okay, different subheadings, different topics basically. Okay, so when we talk about the role of the President, first of all, role of the President. Okay, what role Honorable President performs? Okay, so when we see this line here, okay, so the role of the President in India is to be the ceremonial head of the state and be the supreme commander of the all of the armed forces. Also, President represents the unity and integrity of the country. Okay, when it comes to the representation of the unity or integrity of the country, it's not the Prime Minister. Okay, it's the President that is taken up as the symbol, okay, of the what? Of the unity and integrity of the country. Okay, now the power and position of President is holding significant authority through largely ceremonial powers, okay, that is exercised on the advice of the Prime Minister as well as the Council of Ministers. Okay, so the powers and functions of the President of India, so under different heads, but it is directly not exercised by the President. President has to take in consideration the advice rendered to her by the Union Council of Ministers that is headed by the Prime Minister. Okay, so what's the logic? Union Council of Ministers headed by Prime Minister, they shall be there to aid and advise the President of India, and the President shall act accordingly. These are the words mentioned under Article 74 of the Indian Constitution, right? So we move ahead with the very same thing, and let's start with the executive powers of the President. Okay, so as we have already discussed, there are multiple headings with regard to the powers of the President of India. Okay, so they are legislative, diplomatic, financial, judicial, okay, and executive. So we are starting with what? We are starting with the executive powers of the President. Okay, so when we talk about executive, see, President is not the real executive actually in actual terms. The real executive power is landed in the hands of the Union Council of Ministers. But yes, it is exercised in the name of President, right? Under Article 74 once again. So when we talk about this statement, all executive actions of the government of India, they are finally taken in his or her name. That is the President of India's name. So presently it is Honorable Draupadi Murmu ma'am. So in her name, okay, all the executive actions of the government of India are considered. Okay, second thing, President can make rules specifying the manner in which the orders and other instruments made and executed, okay, shall be made and shall be the execution done. Okay, so it shall be whom? The President, okay, who can make rules. Rules for what? Rules for specification of the manner. What manner? That is, in which, how the business of the government shall be run. Okay, then he or she can make rules for the more convenient transactions of the business of the union. Okay, that is basically the central government. Apart from that, yes, President appoints the Prime Minister and the other ministers, they hold office during his or her pleasure. Now, there would be a big question in your mind, right? Big question. President appoints the Prime Minister. Isn't Prime Minister elected? What's the logic? Yeah, good morning, guys. Good morning. Adrita. Yes, dear, you are a bit late. I guess 5 minutes late only, not much. Okay. So, coming to the point here. President appoints the Prime Minister. Isn't Prime Minister elected? Okay. So, let's just uncover the mystery here. The Prime Minister is appointed. Remember, okay? President of India. When we talk about President of India, President is elected. Though indirectly, but President is elected. But when we talk about the name, that is Prime Minister. So Prime Minister is what? Prime Minister is appointed. Appointed by whom? Appointed by the President. Now then you will be thinking, then whom do we vote for? We vote for the MP. Okay, MP as in Member of Parliament. Okay, same is applicable in the states. Chief ministers also, the state chief ministers also. Okay, there is governor in the states who appoints the chief ministers. Okay, it is not the chief minister, it's not the elected body, it's the appointed body. Elected bodies are whom? Elected bodies are the MPs in the union and MLAs in the states. Okay, so we elect what? We vote for the member of parliament from our constituencies. Right. So among those elected MPs, President opts one person to be the Prime Minister of India. Right. Okay. No, there is no election process for PM. That's true. Yes, MP getting the majority of the votes. Okay, they do get appointed as the Prime Minister. Okay, that's true. Okay, a person from the winning party. Okay, whosoever is going to form the government. Okay, so they suggests the name, and that name is finalized by the president. Okay, hence the prime minister is what? Prime minister is appointed by the president. Okay, so that's the term here. President appoints the prime minister and other ministers. Okay, that is, for example, Home Minister, External Affairs Minister, Education Minister, Commerce Minister, Aviation Minister, Defense Minister. These are the ministers. That is also the other sort of ministers, that is the Union Council of Ministers. So President appoints the Prime Minister, Union Council of Ministers, along with the Cabinet Minister. Okay, and they hold office during the pleasure of the President. Okay, so the executive powers. Further, President appoints the governors of the states as well. Okay, remember, the governors of the states, they are also appointed by the Union, and inside the Union, it is the President of India, along with the other constitutional authorities from the Comptroller and Auditor General. We talk about Article 148, the Attorney General of India, Article 76, okay, or any other particular constitutional bodies, Chief Election Commissioner, UPSC Chairperson, UPSC members, okay, Union Finance Commission, okay, they are all appointed by whom? They are all appointed by the President of India. And this is what the executive powers or functions of the President. Okay, so as you can see, it is mentioned very clearly. Okay, that is, President appoints what? Firstly, the governors of the states. Okay, then we have got the Attorney General of India. Okay, that is the lawyer, advocate of the government. Then we have got the Comptroller and Editor General of India. Okay, we call him as the guardian of the public purse. Then we have got the Chief Election Commissioner along with the other election commissioners. Then we have got the chairperson and members of the UPSC, that is the Union Public Service Commission. Then we have got the chairperson and members of the Finance Commission under Article 280. Okay, so these are all the bigger constitutional authorities, okay, in the different layers or the stratas of our polity, and they are all appointed by whom? They are all appointed by the President of India only. Okay, right? Then next, President can seek any information relating to the administration of the affairs of the Union and proposals for legislation from the Prime Minister. So at any time, it's not like that quarterly, half-yearly, annually, biennially. No, not like that. Okay, President can anytime ask the Prime Minister to submit a report on the affairs of the Union. That is how the government is being run. What are the things government is going to do in the future, and what are the projects that are undergoing and how they are undergoing of the central government, right? So President can seek any information according to the provisions of Article 77 and 78. Okay, then President can require the Prime Minister to submit for consideration of the Council of Ministers or any matter on which a decision has been taken by the Minister or which is under consideration. So whatsoever the Council of Ministers are doing, the President is also empowered to ask the Prime Minister, let me know what your ministers are up to. What are the decisions they have taken, and what are the decisions that are they considering to be taken. Okay, that is the already taken decisions and the decisions that are being cooked as well. Okay, so this is what the executive functions of the President. And then we have got the other powers under the same head, that is the executive. Okay, so President, when it comes to the different communities in India, okay, so for that sake also, President can appoint a commission to investigate and inquire into the conditions of the backward classes. Like we have got Article 340. Then we have got Article 338, capital B, Article 342, capital A. Okay, for the sake of what? Backward classes. How the backward classes in India, they are being protected. How are they uplifted? And to just promote them towards the mainstream of the society, right? Then President can also appoint an interstate council. Okay, this is under Article 263. Okay, interstate council, or also some non-constitutional bodies like zonal councils. Okay, so for what? To promote the interstate and interstate cooperation. Then president directly administers the union territories. Okay, the union territories from Kashmir to Ladakh, from Delhi to Puducherry. Okay, it is under the direct administration of the president, though the union territories of Kashmir, Delhi and Puducherry, they have got their own legislative assemblies, but still, okay, they are union territories and president has got the direct administrative control there as well. Okay, then apart from that, you talk about the union territories of Daman and Diu, Lakshadweep, Andaman and Nicobar, Dadra and Nagar Haveli, okay, Chandigarh, whatsoever. The union territories, they are directly administered by the president. And yes, president appoints the administrators there as well. Those who work as the representative of the union territory, of the aforesaid union territory. Okay, representative of whom? Representative of the President of India only. Okay. So next, president can declare any area as scheduled areas, and it has powers to the administration of scheduled and tribal areas within herself or himself. Okay, so this is what we talk about Schedule 5 and Schedule 6. Basically, we talk about Article 244. Okay, so it deals with the administration of scheduled and the tribal areas. Okay, so Schedule 5 of the Indian Constitution, Schedule 6 of the Indian Constitution, they talks about the administration of the tribal areas. Okay, the first one, that is Schedule 5, talks about the administration of such areas in the states of in the states throughout the country except Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, Mizoram. Whereas Schedule 6, it talks about the administration of tribal areas specifically in the states of Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram. Right? So this is what the executive powers of the president it is. Okay. So as you can see, a wide variety of powers, wide range of powers, okay, that are inherited into the position of the Indian president. Okay. So next, the legislative powers of the president. Okay. What are the legislative functions? So legislative as in, yes, when it comes to the legislation, that is enactment of the laws or the creation of the statutes. Okay. Sir, the difference between AGI and SGI? AGI as in, are you mentioning Attorney General of India? And SGI as in what? There, Adrita and Mahitosh, good morning, good morning. AGI, okay, I got it. In case, if I'm right, that is Attorney General of India. Okay. But SGI is in what? Come on. I do not have any clue. Means like, where are you mentioning SGI? We have got the Attorney General. We have got Comptroller and Auditor General. Okay. We have got the Advocate General of States. Right? So SGI is what? Solicitor General of India. Are you dealing with that? SGI. Solicitor General. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Solicitor General of India is, first of all, not a constitutional body, firstly. Okay. Constitutional body is only the AGI, that is the Attorney General of India. Okay. So, Attorney General of India is mentioned under Article 76, whereas the Solicitor General or the additional Solicitor Generals, they are just substitutes or the assisting hands of the Attorney General of India. Okay. Yes, they are not the constitutional authorities. Okay, they are not mentioned in the Constitution. Only the Attorney General is mentioned by the Constitution, but still government through the executive actions has created the substitutes or the helping hands or the assisting hands of the Attorney General that are termed as Solicitor Generals. Okay. So there could be 1, 2, 3, 4 or as many as Solicitor Generals as well as additional Solicitor Generals as prescribed by the President in his or her executive orders. Okay. So yes, remember it very clearly that only the Attorney General of India is the constitutional one, or the Advocate General of the states under Article 165. They are the constitutional ones, but not the additional or the Solicitor Generals or the additional Solicitor General. Okay. So though we'll discuss them in detail about their powers, functions, appointment, removal, and so on when we move to the next chapter, that will be the constitutional bodies. Okay. So we come back here to the legislative powers or the legislative functions of the president. Legislative as in basically, very simple statement it is here, related to the enactment of the laws or the creation of the statutes, passing of the bills. Okay. See, the structure of the Indian Constitution. Okay, what? The structure of the Indian Parliament, not Constitution, Parliament. Okay, how the Parliament of India is made. Okay, Parliament is equals to what? So it is Lok Sabha as in House of People or the lower house, plus Rajya Sabha, that is upper house or the Council of States, plus the President of India. Okay. So, Lok Sabha plus Rajya Sabha plus President equals to Parliament. So, Parliament comprises of 3 different entities. Okay. And they all 3 together creates what? They create the Parliament of India. Okay. And now, any bill that has been passed through these 2, that is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, will be considered an act, that is officially a law, only when the president has given the assent to the bill. Okay, that is when the president has given the signature, that is, yes, I have authorized the bill, it's correct, and I have given my assent, and now it's the official act or the law. So until and unless that happens, any bill cannot be converted into the law. Okay, either the bill should be having the prior assent of the president, that is before introducing in the parliament, like for example we have got the very famous money bills, what we generally consider them as the budget. Okay, either there should be the prior assent or there should be the post assent, but the assent of the president, that is the signature of the president, is needed for any bill to be converted into a law. Okay, so here we have the legislative functions or the legislative powers of the president. Okay, apart from the bills, what are the other sphere of powers the president of India possesses? Okay, firstly, president can summon or prorogue the parliament and dissolve the Lok Sabha. Okay, so when it comes to the calling of the sessions of parliament, okay, it will be the president that is summoning the house. Or when it comes to the prorogation, that is the ending the session of the house, it will be also done by the president. Okay, or in case the Union Council of Ministers, they resign along with the Prime Minister, okay, or the no confidence motion has been passed, or the Union Council along with the cabinet has given the recommendation, written recommendation to the president, okay, then to dissolve the Lok Sabha as well is the authority or the power of the president. Okay. Next, president can also summon a joint sitting of both the houses of parliament, that is mentioned under Article 108. Okay, in case of a deadlock with regard to passage of any bill, in case the bill is not the constitutional amendment bill and the money bill, okay, then president can call for a joint sitting of both the houses, that is Lok Sabha plus Rajya Sabha. And the president of India only is the authority who can decide that who will be the person that will be the presiding officer of such a joint sitting in case it's happening. Okay. So president can also summon a joint sitting of both the houses of the parliament, which is presided over by the speaker of the Lok Sabha. Okay. So it is what? Speaker of the Lok Sabha, and who decides it? It is decided by the president. And apart from that, in case the speaker is not available, then it will be the deputy speaker. In case both of them are not available, then it will be now the discretion of the president appoint, okay, the presiding officer of the joint sitting of the both the houses, that is simply under Article 108. Okay. Next, President can address the Parliament at the commencement of the first session after each general elections and the first session of each year. So let's say fresh elections, they have happened last year, 2024, June 2024, and the first session happened in the month of July 2024. So whenever the first session of Parliament is happening after general elections, okay, it will be addressed by whom? It will be addressed by the Honorable President of India only. And every year, whatsoever is the first session, generally it is the budget session, that is the first session of every year. So that is also presided over by, or sorry, addressed over by whom? It is also addressed by the Honorable President of India only. So President addresses twice. First, that is the first session after every general election. Secondly, the first session of every year. Okay, may it be the budget session or whatsoever session. So generally it is the budget session only. Okay, but in case if it is not the budget session, any other session it is, then also it will be addressed by the President in case if it is the first session of any year or every year basically. Right? Okay. Next, the President can send messages to the Houses of the Parliament, whether with respect to a bill pending in the Parliament or otherwise. Okay, so the President of India can also send the notice to the Parliament, that is, these are the bills pending, what's going on, what's the update, seeking the update or the report over the pending bills and over their passages. Okay, so this is what the first point into the legislative powers of the President. Okay, so once again, can summon or prorogue, okay, or even dissolve the Lok Sabha, okay, can call for a joint sitting, okay, of the Parliament, okay, under Article 108, in case Speaker and Deputy Speakers, that both not available, then for sure it will be the President who shall be deciding, who shall be the deciding authority of that who is going to be the presiding officer of such a joint sitting. Then third, President addresses what? The sessions of Parliament. What sessions? The first session after every general election, and second, the first session of every single year. Okay, and apart from that, yes, can also seek the report or update from the Parliament about the pending bills. Okay. Next, legislative powers. The President can appoint any member of the Lok Sabha or even Rajya Sabha to preside over its proceedings when the offices of the Speaker, Deputy Speaker, or the Chairperson or the Deputy Chairperson in case of Rajya Sabha, they fall vacant. Okay, so the House of People, that is the lower house, that is Lok Sabha, is presided over by the Speaker and deputed by the Deputy Speaker. In case they both are not available due to any uncertain or unavoidable circumstances, then it will be the President of India who shall be deciding the presiding officers. And same is followed in the other house, that is the Council of States or the upper house, that is basically the Rajya Sabha. Okay. In that case, if the chairperson or the deputy chairperson is not available, then also the President of India has the authority to go ahead and look out for a presiding officer for that specific time. Okay. Then, President nominates 12 members to Rajya Sabha. Okay. From amongst the persons, those who are having special skills, knowledge, or achievement, may it be from the field of sports, literature, okay, science, or any type of art, okay, or social service. Like, for example, many of the people, like, for example, Sachin Tendulkar, he was erstwhile former member of Rajya Sabha as well. Okay, so he contested the elections? No, as he was one of the stalwarts of his field of cricket, that is sport. So he was appointed, okay, as one of the member of the Rajya Sabha. Okay, so it's on the discretion of the President of India to choose who will be the presiding officer. Yes, true. Okay, so President nominates how many members to Rajya Sabha? President can nominate 12 members to Rajya Sabha. And who shall be these 12 members? The persons with extraordinary skills, knowledge, and achievements in their fields. Those fields could be social service, science, arts, okay, sports, literature, like this, right? Next, President nominated 2 members to the Lok Sabha from Anglo-Indian community, but this provision has now been repealed through the 103rd Constitutional Amendment Act of 2009, or sorry, 104th Constitutional Amendment Act of 2019. So guys, make it clear that till 2019, the president at the center, that is at the union level, the governors at the state level. The president was having 2 seats with regard to the Anglo-Indian community in the Lok Sabha, and governors, they used to have 1 seats, okay, with regard to the same, that is Anglo-Indian community, into the respective legislative assemblies, okay, and they used to nominate the members, okay, to be the part of the Lok Sabha, okay, but this provision has been subsequently repealed, okay, through what? Through the 104th Constitutional Amendment Act of 2019. Okay, now there is no such provision left. Yes, yes, Adrita dear, that's correct and good. So, President decides on the questions as to disqualifications. That is when it comes to the anti-defection law under 10th schedule. Okay, talking about Article 102 and 191. Okay, so when it comes to the disqualification of the members of the Parliament, President is the deciding authority in consultation with the Election Commission of India. Right? The president will have to take in consultation what? The Election Commission of India when it comes to the disqualification of members of the Parliament. Okay, not just with regard to the anti-defection, but yes, also with regard to their election procedure. Okay, and the challenging authority will be the High Court of India in case the judgment is to be challenged. Okay, so next. President's prior recommendation or permission is needed to introduce certain types of bills in the Parliament. Okay, as we have already discussed. Okay, that is, a bill is converted into an act only after it has gained the assent from the president. Only, right? But it is the post assent. Okay. But there are certain types of bills that requires what? The prior assent. Okay. Right? So what is the prior assent? What are those types of bills that requires the prior assent? So here we go. Here we have the first one. A bill that basically involves expenditure from the Consolidated Fund of India. Okay. So any bill that involves an expenditure from the Consolidated Fund of our country. Next, a bill for the alteration of boundaries of the states or the creation of any new state from under Article 3. Okay. Then a money bill under Article 110. Consolidated Fund under Article 276. Okay. Next, a bill that imposes or varies any tax or duty in which states are interested. Okay. A bill that actually amends any sort of a tax or any sort of a duty whose interests, okay, or the states are there in the interest as well. Okay. Next, a bill that varies the meaning of the expression agricultural income. Okay. So any bill that is related to the definition of agricultural income, then also president's prior assent is needed. Next, a bill that affects the principles on which the sums of money, okay, they are to be distributed among the states. So basically, the distribution of revenue among the center and the states. Like for example, the GST bill. Okay. Next, a bill that imposes any extra amount or any new type of surcharge or on a specified or on any specified tax or a duty for the purpose of the center. So that is basically a bill that is introducing any new sort of surcharge or any new sort of duty on any specific tax. Okay, so that is all the things. Okay, so basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so there are basically 7 bills. Okay, that needs what? The prior assent of the president before it is sent to the Parliament. Okay, so from money bill to the bill that defines the agriculture, a bill that involves the interest of the states when it comes to the taxes. Okay, a bill that imposes any surcharge okay, a bill that involves any expenditure out of the consolidated fund of India, if it is a money bill, okay, so these are all what the sort or the types of the bills that requires what the prior assent of the president before they are introduced inside the parliament. Okay, next, certain types of bills can be introduced in a state legislative assemblies only with the previous sanction of the president. Okay, there are certain types of bills that are going to be, okay, represented in the state legislative assemblies. They also need the prior sanction of the president. Prior sanction of the president, not even governor. Okay, president. What are those types of bills? Like, for example, a state bill imposing restrictions on the freedom of trade, commerce, and intercourse within the state, okay, or outside the state, interstate or intrastate, from Article 300 to 301. Okay, in fact, 302 as well. So any bill that imposes any sort of restrictions or changes, okay, in the interstate or intrastate, this trade, right, that will also be required the prior assent of the president to be introduced in the any state legislative assembly. Okay, next, when a bill is sent to the president after it has been passed by the parliament, then the president has got some veto powers. Okay, what are these veto powers the president of India has? President of India has got, with regard to the union parliament, three types of veto powers. That is suspensive veto, absolute veto, and pocket veto. Okay, so make it clear, guys, when it comes to the bills passed by the union parliament, president of India has got three types of veto powers. Okay, what are they? Suspensive veto, pocket veto, okay, that is suspensive as in can be sent for the one time reconsideration. Pocket veto as in, okay, I'll look after it, okay, and then the veto, that is providing the proper assent. So absolute veto the president of India doesn't have, but yes, president of India has got the pocket veto as well as absolute veto. So providing the assent to the bill, that is yes, giving the assent, giving the veto. Next, withholding his or her assent to the bill, that is known as the pocket veto, keeping the bill in the pocket and doing nothing. Okay, and third, returning the bill, that is what is known as the suspensive veto. Right. So, guys, there is a very interesting case also that has happened just yesterday, for which Supreme Court has given the clear-cut verdict as well with regard to the veto powers of the governor. So, for that, we do have a special session today by around 6 p.m. or 5 p.m. actually. So, please stay tuned with the channel. Okay, so that's why I request you guys to subscribe the channel as well. That today by around 5 p.m. we will be having a special session for you guys. A special session as in where we will be discussing about the recent Supreme Court verdict with regard to the tussle between the Tamil Nadu government led by Chief Minister M.K. Stalin and Governor R.N. Ravi. Okay, with regard to the passage of bills and with regard to the governor's power to withhold the assent and use the transferable veto. So Supreme Court has given a very wonderful judgment over it, okay, and for which we have a detailed session upcoming today, 5 p.m. So guys, please mark the time, 5 p.m. we'll be meeting, okay, again, and we'll be discussing about the veto powers of the president as well as the governors of the states. Right. So generally, as of now, to provide the teaser here, the president has got three options: give the assent, withhold the assent, and send the bill for the reconsideration to the parliament. However, if the bill is passed again by the parliament with or without the amendments, okay, then the president has to give the assent in the very next stage, right? So these are the types or the assents or the type of the vetoes the president of India and the governors also they do have with regard to the state legislative assembly. And in detail, the session is coming up at 5 p.m. Okay. Next, President can promulgate ordinances when the parliament is not in session. Okay, so under Article 123, okay, the President of India is given this power under Article what? 123. And same with regard to governors under Article 213. They have got, that is to promulgate ordinance. Ordinance what? Ordinances, we can call it as the temporary law. Okay. Ordinance what? Ordinance, that is temporary law. Okay. So in case the parliament is not in session and there arises a situation for which to deal with, we do not have any specific law. Okay, then in that case, using Article 123, on the aid and advice of the Union Council of Ministers, the President can promulgate ordinances. Okay, and these ordinances, they shall be converted, they could be converted by the Parliament or could be not. But for that, Parliament has got 6 weeks of the time from its pre-assembly. Okay, so let's say today Parliament is not in session. Today the date is 10th of April. And today we got a situation for which to deal with, we do not have any specific law. Then today, that is on 10th of April 2025, President can promulgate an ordinance that shall continue to be in effect till the 6 weeks from the first day of the reassembly of the Parliament. So let's say, for example, on 1st of May, Parliament shall have its session. Okay, and President has promulgated the ordinance on 10th of April. So from 1st May till 6 weeks, that is next 42 days, that is around nearly 12th June or 11th June, that ordinance shall be continued. Okay, that ordinance will be kept in force. In case the Parliament wants to continue it, then the Parliament may create a bill and shall convert it into the Act with the assent of the President. But in case Parliament wishes not to continue with that ordinance, then it shall do nothing. And on the 43rd day of the reassembly, that is the first sitting of the Parliament since that ordinance, on the very 43rd day, that is after the end of the 6th week, okay, that so-called aforesaid ordinance shall cease to exist. Okay, so this is what the President's power is under Article 123 of the Indian Constitution. Okay, next, the President lays the reports of the CAG, the UPSC, Finance Commission, and all others before the Parliament. So when it comes to the reports of UPSC, CAG, okay, or the Finance Commission report, or any reports by the National Commission for Scheduled Castes, Scheduled Tribes, Backward Classes, Women, okay, whatsoever, okay, for any particular commission, okay, the reports of that commission is submitted to the President of India only. And it is the duty of the President to take that report, to lay down that report in front of the table of the Parliament. So make it very clear, guys, all of the reports of these organizations, from UPSC to Finance Commission to NCSC, NCST, NCBC, okay, whatsoever, these reports, all of these reports of these organizations, they are submitted to the President of India only and not directly to the Parliament. It's the President who takes these reports to the Parliament. Okay. And apart from that, yes, as we know that President is the chief authority when it comes to the administration of the Union Territories. So here, with regard to the Union Territories of Andaman and Nicobar, Lakshadweep, Dadar and Nagar Haveli, Daman and Diu, Ladakh, okay, President can make regulations for the peace, progress, and good governance of these Union Territories. Okay, right? So these are what? The legislative powers of the President of India. Okay, guys. So that's it for the session for now. Okay, and please, guys, this is what the StudyIQ IAS English channel is for you guys only. It's created for you guys only. It's your channel. So please hit the subscribe button, okay, and never miss any kind of an update from the channel, as this channel is whole day, okay, providing you the classes, the sessions from current affairs to polity to art and culture to history. Okay, these are the classes that are currently going on along with the other upcoming classes as well. So please do subscribe the channel. It's just made for you guys. Okay. So apart from that, what's your opinion over the powers and functions of the President? So please do let me know into the comment section as well. And if you need to connect with me through my social media, okay, so here it is. On Instagram, you can search me with the username Praveen Mishra _2107. And on Telegram, you can search with the username, the channel name actually, study_with_Praveen. Even if you don't use the terms of underscore, then on the search bar, just go ahead and study with Praveen, just type. You'll get my channel and you can connect with me. Okay, so either you can connect with me on Telegram or Instagram, wherever you wish, and let me know your academic related doubts, and I shall try my best to overcome those doubts. Okay, guys. So thank you so much for watching. See you all soon in the very next session. Bye bye. Good day. Take care. Study well. Jai Hind. Jai Bharat.